John,
Okay.
I'm thinking about your position here that you've gone over, and I'm just not feeling it. I'm pretty committed to my take. I mean, I look around at the world, and I've got all these data points I can give to saying they're in control. It's a concentration camp everywhere, a concentration camp where they tell us that we're free. As you've heard me discuss before, so why should we believe, rather than my take that we've talked about, why should we think that take is wrong and that your take is right?
Well, because of several things. One is your view, I think, is correct as far as they have control, but the problem is how much control. I mean, obviously, before the health care bill, there wasn't enough control, right? So they're pushing that agenda, and then that's not going to be enough. Then it's going to be something else and something else. They just keep going after more and more and more. So obviously, they do not have all that they want. But also, I just noticed in my own life when I was kind of wayward out there, and I was driven by money and this illusion of success, it was my own nature that, and I've shared this on the show, that I just could, once I made $1 million, I wanted 10. Now, I never got 10. But I guarantee you, once I got 10, if I had, I would have wanted 100. And then all of a sudden I would have wanted 1 billion, and then I would have wanted the whole world. And as I went down that path, all of you listening to my voice now meant less and less to me, because I was becoming a materialist rather than having empathy for my fellow man. And I think that's just the nature of the human condition. And I believe that this power behind the veil is very aware of that flaw in us, and it feeds it. And the reason it feeds it is because there's an end point. I don't think it is just about control. I think it's about escape for them. And there is a little bit that I could go further, but let's see what you think about that.
Well, that's very, very interesting. What if you said something about the health care bill. And, of course, everybody's been thinking about that a lot lately. And, of course, we need to point out something, one of the listeners of this show, his YouTube channel is Mindcrime1994, he pointed out to me today that happened on 3/22. Maybe a coincidence, but, I mean, come on, we're sick of coincidences. 322 is the Skull and Bones number, of course. So, very interesting. But as far as the health care bill goes, what if I just said they already had control. That's just about rearranging it more to throw it in our faces and to try to create revolt, because they already had us all going to the poison control centers, better known as the hospitals, to get our radiation treatment for our cancer after we've eaten our poison food. I mean, they had us doing all that. They can get us. I hold the thesis they can just get us to do whatever they want. The only reason we even know that there's a low approval rating of the Congress is because they told us about it on, CIA, CNN, and so what if I said, so therefore I disagree with you that the health care bill is that they needed more control. They already had it, and they are just messed. They're playing with their toys, which is the world population.
Yeah, but the health care bill is significant power grab, right? I mean, it's just not a minor thing. It can just like the Patriot Act, folks. I think we'd all agree, those of us that have looked into it, it's not a good thing, but they can use it to really lock us down tight if they wanted to, right? And it's the same way with the health care bill. Initially, on the surface, the way they spin it on TV, it doesn't fit right, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But if you start reading the health care bill and start to see how they will control your health, and it gets bad, folks. I mean, there's a lot of things in there to be nervous about, but only if, and this is my other counter argument, only if you give in to it. And that's why I urge people, just like Reagan's Nancy Reagan, just say no. Is you've got to fight this with your mind and your action. You got to say no. I'm not going to do it under any circumstances. But Jeffrey, they have you say they have control, and they have all the control they want. I know that's not true because they do not control me. They don't have. Look, they use fear, right? The New World Order uses fear, and I think it's so that this invisible entity of a lower dimension can feed off of that. Now, I am not afraid, never been afraid, and so they cannot control my thinking. They cannot control my thoughts.
Another thing they don't control is telementation. But say, but of course, hardly anybody knows how to do it. But what if I said, okay, they don't control, you're a free person, I'm a free person, we just simply decided to not participate in the Illuminati system. So therefore, that's what freedom is, and we've gained some. But what if I said, who cares, it doesn't harm them in one single way, it means nothing, they're sitting there laughing about it.
Let me, get this. This is really good. Because I have argued that with myself for a long time before I realized this part. They don't give a crap, about the people they have. The clones that are going along with this, or the Freemasons that have signed up with them, Jeffrey. Right. This entity, this evil entity on the other side of the veil, the only thing they want is those of us that it doesn't have. It's the same thing as I was talking about the money thing. You just can't ever have enough. And the same way with power, you can't ever have enough. Control, you can't ever have enough. It is the same way with us. It doesn't want what it has. It has George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., but it wants me. It wants you out there listening to this show, and it wants you, Jeffrey. That's what it's going after, and it doesn't have that. That's what's keeping it alive. But I think that they love fear, and what would be scarier? I mean, I don't buy into any of the fear stuff, but if they manifested on this plane, in this dimension, maybe I'd start to get a little nervous, right? So maybe they would accomplish that. But I think they can control you if you're afraid of it or submissive of it.
Well, they must have some ability to control this plane. Like on the lower dimension, let's call it the lower dimension Nephilim model, just for a moment. According to that model, quite remarkable, by the way, they are able to reach into this domain. They can control. They're behind all this. What your brainwashing box in the corner of the room, known as your TV, ultimately exists there because of them. So that's some serious power that they do have in the three-dimensional physical domain. Right. So in their lower dimension, they are able to reach across here to ours to do something. So while they're, according to the lower dimension Nephilim model, they may be trying to get here, but at the same time, they also are doing some damage here, to say the least. Right? Oh,
absolutely, and especially through their minions, right, on this side. Let me throw a wrench into this and tell you guys another belief I have is UFOs. This is related, but not directly. I believe UFOs exist because it was a CIA reality manifestation project to see if we could create that.